saying, this lake is great. Superior.
Whoa, what a view. Hello, everybody. I'm Kit, and this week we are finally hitting the trail again. Turtle and I are heading out for an overnight at Split Rock Lighthouse State Park in Minnesota. It's just about an hour's drive up the North Shore from where we live now. We had to wait a long time for the weather to warm up and to get really settled into our new apartment, but we're very excited to spend some time on the trail and looking at the gorgeous lake. So we need to figure out where we are parking the car overnight, and then we will be hitting the trail. Editing Kit here. I was not only out of practice at backpacking, but at recording video. So, quick summary of the important information. We headed out super early to Split Rock Lighthouse State Park because Turtle at this point is working a fully night shift and has switched completely to a nocturnal sleep schedule. So our plan was to follow one of these routes on the map from the Cart Inn campsite to backpacking site number 2, and then have Turtle sleep through a big chunk of the day, while I enjoyed our projected incredibly lovely weather. And then Turtle would stay up through the night and stay warm with a fire. We were very eager to test our plan and enjoy the bright sunshine, so up we loaded and off we went. You ready to roll?
Ready to roll.
All right.
When I roll, I mean walk.
Yep. You're a little excited about the lake?
Excited. I like water.
I know you love water.
Especially when there's lots of water.
So you're happy we moved to the biggest Great Lake?
Yes.
This is Cart Inn Site 11, just for future reference.
I'm just saying, this lake is great. Superior.
Get there eventually, but there's going to be a lot of stopping to look at the lake, frankly. So that has a sign pointing to backpack sites. But our plan has been to take Day Hill Trail to avoid the big stairs and to have the option of taking in view up the hill today. Late April in Minnesota. I'm getting a little overheated, so catching my breath and stripping off some layers. Just trying to think about our next steps. I am feeling prodromy, as we discussed earlier, so I'm not totally committed to the idea of going up the spur to the Day Hill observation point. We can do that tomorrow on the way out if we want to.
I'm willing to save it for that, yeah.
Okay, it's not going to make you too sad. Okay, behind me is the Gitchi Gami Bike Trail. It is a paved trail that goes a good chunk of the way along the North Shore here. And we hike it for the next little bit before we make a decision. Once we get to the next trail intersection, we'll take a peek. We've been hiking on graveled trails so far, but if there isn't significant gravel on the next trail, given how wet the ground is, we might stick with the bike trail until the closest intersection to our campsite. Less of a classic backpacking experience, but more not tearing up the trails for the rest of the summer.
Ooh, let me see.
They're hiding from us, but they love the brush here. And the sun, probably. The sun probably feels nice to a bird. One thing about hiking the bike trail, it is smooth. I feel like I got a major speed boost. But it looks like our next intersection at decision time is up just ahead. So let's come look at the map. We're at V here.
Okay.
So we could end up coming onto natural trails. We have to wind down and up and down and around all the way. Or we can take the Gitchi Gami pretty much straight across and then down. That loop is going to be the same. That curve on the point is going to be the same either way. It's 10:30, so this is where we're counting against your sleep schedule and how early you can go to bed. But also the smoothness of hiking versus woodiness of hiking.
I do like me some woody natural trails,
Yeah.
but the potential of going to sleep late and having triggered myself a migraine relapse does not sound wonderful.
Okay. Maximize enjoying more of the trip rather than high enjoyment intensity early in the trip.
Yeah, let's go easy today.
All right, we'll stick with the bike trail for now. And my body also likes this plan. The other reason that it took so long for me to get back out on the trail is that I unfortunately have more health stuff going on. I'm still in the process of getting testing and diagnosis done with gastroenterology, but that has definitely eaten into my energy and ability in the past couple months. But I was going a little crazy not camping, so very healing view. I really love these hills. Finally time to cut towards the lake. Not so much gravel on this one, but it also looks a little drier, and we will just have our protective tips on our poles and tread carefully. It's, I think, maybe a quarter mile to camp from here. Just a couple muddy patches, but only a few. I'm going slow and careful through the middle of the mud to avoid widening the trail.
1901, Duluth prospector Ed Lewis claimed to have discovered a form of the valuable mineral corundum. Used for grinding wheels and sandpaper, corundum was in high demand out east. Its discovery prompted 3 companies, including Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing, 3M, to begin mining in Minnesota. The North Shore Abrasives Company began mining at Corundum Point in 1904. Unfortunately, it was not corundum, but a softer metal called anorthosite. I'm probably saying that wrong. The operation closed 1908, and fire destroyed the mine shacks 2 years later.
As you can suspect, we might have reason to be wary of careless mining operations up in this country. It's great that mining has been the backbone of the economy up in this part of the state especially for a long time. But the currently still active mines are iron and taconite, I believe. and they are much easier to safely run than some of the current proposals. Congress voted to remove a previous ban on mining in waters adjacent to the Boundary Waters Wilderness Area that is on the boundary of Minnesota and Canada. It is a incredibly beloved and immensely popular wilderness area. The particular companies that have made proposals to mine are interested in a very dangerous type of mining for copper that involves sulfide, and it is a company that has a history, a long, strong history of mining disasters they don't clean up. Most of the people here are incredibly angry at the idea of immensely polluting the Boundary Waters area. There's definitely still action to be done at the state level. I know that there's a lot of advice on what to do at savetheboundarywaters.org, but yeah, I don't know what to say. I just felt like, given where we are and what's been going on, I needed to say something. I don't have a good conclusion for this section. I guess we're just hoping it's not concluded.
Walking downhill on ice you're not sure of,
Mm-hmm.
put one foot perpendicular to the slope
Oh.
and go slow.
Yeah.
And that helps stabilize against slips.
All right. I'm going to watch you doing it. Okay. I can do that. I believe that's our camp.
Looks like it.
Let's take a peek. Just in time, too, as it's getting wet enough to have a tiny creek in the trail. Back at Site 2, we made our reservation, and I love this feature. It's occupied. I did love backpacking in Indiana. I sincerely loved backpacking in Indiana. But we did not get this. Tent pad, half table, bonus full table, fire ring, bear box, and off in the corner, a latrine. Turtle is doing their usual cleanup of camp, getting all the trash out of the fire pit as we arrive. Unfortunate, but unfortunately common. Pretty much all of the camping out here is much more heavily used because of the general outdoorsiness of the culture. So all of the state park backpacking sites, as far as I know, and all of the developed sites on the Superior Hiking Trail have latrines, which is very nice. Also, most of them, as far as I know, have bear boxes. Very nice amenities to have. But I am going to just sit here and look at the lake and make myself some lunch because I'm starving. Okay, lunch eaten. Turtle's all set up and now eating their lunch, and I am going to explore around camp to scout the best place to pitch my hammock and the least precarious way to access the lake for water and just touching the lake. later, both to gather water and probably to hang out during some of the day. But I need to figure out where I'm sleeping for the night too. So back up to where there's trees. Alright, I have checked out the whole area. There's trees with a bunch of undergrowth and fallen logs under. There's trees that are too close together. There's trees that have saplings too close. And there's this one spacing that will be gorgeous and have an amazing lake view, but is right on the edge of the bluff. I wouldn't be getting in and out against the edge of the bluff, at least, so there's that. But this is frankly looking like the most likely spot right now. I will give it a little bit, see if I spot anything better or think of anything better, but we might be going for beauty and danger in our sleep spot tonight. Yeah, I think I'm just going to try to hang. I can at least start sneaking it up and see how I feel about it once there's actual objects there. Alright, it was tricky to get fine-tuned just the way I want, but it's not too bad. If I needed a tarp, I would not be able to pitch here. There's too much brush up close. But it is just at, I might lightly brush it with a swing. None of it has actual thorns. Some bristly stuff, but it's soft. All of the twigs are very tender and bendable. So, I think it's safe for my gear. I think it's safe for me. And whoa, what a view. Might be time for an afternoon rest break. Just me. Perhaps I am learning something about how even when things are very not ideal, they can also simultaneously be perfect. I must have done a pretty good job hanging that hammock, because I lounged in it for about 2.5 hours. Dozed a little bit, read for a while, but eventually the power of the sun's warmth did not quite overcome the chill of lounging with absolutely no insulation. So I am up now, having some mid-afternoon snacks. Turtle is well and truly asleep, and I am just going to soak up the environment. Climbed down to the lake shore. These big black rocks are so warm from start to finish. It's a good place to sit and just enjoy the sound of the water. For this lake, this is an incredibly calm day, but the little splashes and wavelets are still a very nice place. Blue dot of fabric. That's the stuffing bag for my hammock. It's hanging right on that tree. So I got pretty sunburnt on my face and hands hanging out by the lake all day. Well, I wish I'd remembered to reapply my sunscreen. It was still worth it because it was just such a gorgeous and peaceful day with literally nothing in my head other than beautiful nature when I looked up and a good book when I looked down. The sun is getting low in the sky though, and Turtle has woken up. So I need to start arranging my quilts with my hammock system and then getting ready to make dinner. It's finally time for dinner. If I can get the bear can open, amongst the many things I'm out of practice at.
Now let's be perfectly clear. The first thing I'm cooking is coffee.
That's fair. For not doing very much today, I am incredibly tired. Like, we hiked a mile and a half at the most generous measurement. But, I mean, sunburns do tend to make people tired, but...
Radiation damage.
Yes.
I mean, literally.
But also we, like, are out of shape at this, and I have been sick all winter, so...
Yeah.
It's okay if we ease into the year.
Be fair to yourself.
Most of the point of backpacking is hanging out in the woods, in places you can't get to with a car. At least for me. The sun is properly down. All my food and after dinner drink have been consumed. It is 8:15. I'm gonna start getting ready for bed. Meds, teeth, bathroom, change into sleepy things. I doubt I'll sleep this early, but as per usual, I like cuddling up in the hammock with a book for a while before final bathroom trip and real sleep. Alright, I am super bundled up. Did some jumping jacks to build up heat under my layers. I'm about to snuggle up cozy with a book. Turtle's gonna be up through the night. They're getting started building a fire now. Since we double-checked the regulations, and apparently you need a permit for a big bonfire or a brush fire. So, we should be good there, and they'll be up all night watching it. So, I hope they have a good night, and I hope I stay nice and warm too. All right, that was quite a cold night. The reading I got just before the sun crested over the hill there was 34 degrees. The turtle ended up having to retreat to their tent to stay warm. I was up and down quite a bit for the bathroom, but while I experienced periods of being cold after we got those underquote tweaks done, it was never anything that I couldn't, like, if I was feeling too cold, wiggle around, rub my legs a little, and then feel nice and toasty warm and go back to sleep. So while this is still definitely pushing the limits of my gear, and it wasn't the best night I've ever spent at camp, it was still a success. We're alive. We can make warm breakfast.
My night was cold.
Yeah.
Colder than I planned on. I was thinking in terms of the low being when I was going to be all tucked up in my tent, in my sleeping bag.
Uh-huh.
That was not the plan. The plan was me to be up, not hiking during the coldest temperatures. And that I
Yeah.
did not adequately prepare.
Yeah, I was a little concerned, but I was just trusting that you had what you wanted.
I had what I needed.
We're both learning things on this trip.
Yep. I'm wearing so many layers.
So, the hammock placement.
Yeah.
Literally the only spot I could put my hammock in this camp. And I was like, okay, it's kind of close to the edge, but like, I have the actual cliff at my foot. I'm not like walking next to the cliff and getting in and out on the cliff.
Right.
In the middle of the night, I'm getting up to go to the bathroom for like the second or third time.
Right.
And doing the careful dance of like moving my shoes from where I've been tucking them between saplings. And I'm like, I'm doing this because there's a gentler slope directly in front of me. And if I was like disoriented, I could just tip forward and just roll down the fucking lake.
That is not ideal.
The rule of thumb is don't hang higher than you're willing to fall. And like, it was not very high off of the ground, but the ground was sloped and just a little bit past my foot space, sloping a little more precipitously.
The ground becomes far from the ground.
Yeah. So this is a beautiful site, but I'm sure the other sites in this park are just as beautiful and will hopefully have some good hanging options that are a little less dangerous. It really is insanely calm and insanely clear for us being here. We kind of lucked into very picturesque weather for our first trip on the shore of the lake.
Cold, but picturesque.
Yes. Backpacking site 2, vacant. You were a nice sight. We will probably not see you again.
In passing, we will wave as we walk.
And now, we must walk on.
Trip.
Looks like a puddle. This is the sort of last chance point to decide to go the woodsy way versus up to Gitchi Gami. Given the condition of what we just went over, yeah. If it's that much more muddy everywhere else, I don't want to tear it up. On top of like all of our slip risks. Okay. It can be really tempting to be like, a paved trail isn't a real trail for backpackers. It's cheating, or it's just not the same experience. It's a different experience. And in the freestyle cycle up here, I'm really, really grateful for paved and graveled trails, because they mean I can still get out without worrying about causing trail damage. Very grateful we have a bridge to cross this. About to like psychologically prepare myself for the hill.
It's not a multi.
Well, yeah, but there is more up than I was hoping for this spur. I should be fair. It is, after all, a hill. And I really want that view. And when you want that view, you often have to climb. I'm just gonna fully catch my breath first. Taking a breather partway up the spur trail, but there's a nice little side view. There's just more up to go. Not that much hiking. I'm just in rough shape. I'm not letting that stop me. Just kind of letting it set the scale. Gotta protect what's left of my poor face. There's a ship out there. Probably headed to Duluth.
Yeah. Looks long with the tower on.
Yeah.
And so probably a cargo ship.
Alright, it's been lovely up here, but we do have to get home in time for Turtle to sleep, so packing up the snacks, and then we're gonna hike back to that side point, pause, and put on our spikes for the pretty hefty ice. We made it up through by just being careful, but going down, we want the security. fully hit the whiny toddler internal monologue part of this hike, though.
Well, that's how you know you're in a zone of development.
I am leaving it all on the floor with this one, that's for sure.
The key is to not wipe out on the floor and
Yes,
leave blood there as well.
That's part of why spikes are going on.
Exactly.
Anyway, I bought these boots for city wear. That was like the whole decision-making process. And I decided when we planned this trip, I should really probably try waterproof boots to make sure my feet stay warm. And that helped. But they just do not have the kind of precision fit that I am obsessed with in my trail runners. And I frankly love trail runners and wear them so much, it's hard for me to get excited about investing in waterproof boots when that's just not what I like wearing to start with.
You'll probably get a wiggle on.
Okay. The beloved car. The only car in the parking lot. All right, first trip of the season, first trip in Minnesota, done.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about this
Pretty good overall. Lessons have been learned.
one? Yeah, I learned some serious sun lessons.
I need better cold weather camp gear.
I mean, I do too. Well, I think we
Yeah.
all do for living in this state. And we learned one backpacking site that's not going to be great for hammocks at this state park, but there's 3 others and a bunch of others at different state parks. For this trip, was there anything that you especially loved that you'd want to try to repeat for future trips?
I mean, there's the obvious.
The lake. Yeah.
I love having a view of the lake. I love being able to hear the lake.
There's going to be plenty of places we can backpack on the lake, and lots of places off the lake.
Of course. It's a big state.
Are you more desperate for a shower or food?
Food.
Okay, let's look up a place to hit up on our way back down the shore. All right, see y'all next time. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to share it with a friend, leave a comment with thoughts or questions about my trips, hit the like button, or subscribe for future updates. I'm planning on sticking to the approximately every 2-week schedule I did through last year, but now updates will be happening on Fridays. My next trip is going to be to George H. Crosby Manitou State Park. I'll be spending 2 nights out there with Creature, and we'll be out there actually right when this video goes live. I really missed making these videos, and I'm glad to be back at it. Thank you so much again for watching, and I'll see you next time.